Good morning, Mrs. Loretta. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about you, Mrs. Chavez?
I'm doing well. Thank you. So I called you in today so that we could discuss Alex's test scores on the general achievement test. I understand that these scores are sometimes a little bit confusing to read, so today we're going to be going over that, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Okay.
Okay, so the general achievement test is just a snapshot of what your child has learned from in-class instruction. On the top left, we have demographic information such as my name, the school name, the district, and then of course Alex's name. So here on the right side we have the grade level, the test dates, and then her ID number, which you could use to get on the parent portal. And you can see, you can look at some of her schoolwork, you can see her report card, and you can also see the test information. And I just want you to know that this test was taken back in March, and since then Alex has learned more in class and has improved on certain subject areas that were tested here.
Okay, that makes sense.
The top box is referred to as norm referenced information, and the bottom box is referred to as criterion referenced information.
Okay, so what is norm referenced information?
Norm referenced information just gives us information about how our students' scores are compared to other students in a norm group.
So who's in the norm group?
A norm group is just a group of students from across the nation who took the test before it was released, and so that we can have a set of scores to compare our student scores to.
Oh, okay. And what was the bottom one again?
The bottom box was criterion referenced information, which is how your child is performing on more specific set of skills, but we'll go into more detail in just a second. So referring back to the norm referenced information, do you have any questions about any subtests that you see here? Does anything look unfamiliar to you?
Everything looks pretty good except the bottom two, basic battery and complete battery. What is that?
So basic battery scores are Alex's core subjects, which are reading, math, language, listening, and spelling.
Okay.
Complete battery includes all of the basic battery subjects, which are the core, along with science and social studies. And so it's not that science and social studies aren't as important as our core subjects. We just tend to focus more on the reading and the writing, speaking, so that it sets up a strong foundation for our students when they move on to middle school. They have that that knowledge that they need to study those more complex subjects.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So let's take a look at the total reading scores. On this column, it shows the total number of questions for the section, which is 108. And I know that seems like a lot of questions for a third grader, but the more questions given, the more accurate results that we'll get from her test. So on the next column, we see the raw score, which is just the total number of questions Alex answered correctly.
Okay. And then the 53, is that what she got?
No, those are percentiles. I think you're probably thinking about percentages, which would be like 50, but no, those are percentiles.
What is the difference?
So a percentile, it shows how much higher or lower she scored or performed than students in a norm group. So in this case, Alex scored in the 53rd percentile, which puts her about here, meaning she performed 53% better than the norm group.
Okay.
So this puts her here in about the average range for her test scores in total reading.
Okay. I was a little worried for a second there.
No, that's fine. That's why we're going over these test scores. I know they can be a bit confusing. So now I want to look at the percentile bands. Here we're just going to look at the standard error of measurement. And the standard error of measurement just gives the student some leeway on the test. This is in place for students who may have not been feeling well on the day of the test, or perhaps they didn't eat enough, or maybe a question on the test was worded weirdly and they didn't quite understand it. But Alex was pretty alert that day. Her standard error of measurement here is +3 or -3, meaning that if she were to take the test over and over again, she would score in the 50th percentile to the 56th percentile.
Okay, well that's good to know. So I know she's in average range, but what was her score?
So her score here, let's look, right here, the scaled score. So we see that her reading score is 508, which doesn't make sense. But if you don't know the scale, it can be a bit confusing. So let's refer back to this chart. So the scale for the general test of achievement was 200 to 800, I'm sorry. And Alex scored about 508, which puts her about here, but she's still in the average range. Do you have any questions about any other subtests?
Actually, I see that problem solving was her lowest one, but what is involved in problem solving?
So problem solving is when we go over number sentences and word problems, such as Alex has 5 cookies and then she got 6 more. How many does she have now?
Okay.
Do you ever notice her struggling with like those types of problems?
Sometimes when she has work from school, I notice that she'll misread the questions or it'll take her a little bit longer to finish the problem.
No, that's not a problem. Like I said, the test was taken back in March, and since then we've been going over a lot of problem-solving questions in class, and I have noticed that Alex has improved a lot. So now I want to kind of focus here on the criterion referenced information, which tells us how Alex did on a specific set of skills. Do you see any subtests here that are unfamiliar to you?
So far, no vowels, phonetic, consonants. I remember some of those. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, listening. How would you test their listening?
So when we administer the test, students are given a specific set of directions that they need to follow, such as putting their name on the test, not opening the test until they're asked to, and things like that.
Okay.
So right here, let's look at this column. The RS in this column stands for raw score, which is the number of correct questions Alex answered. The NP stands for number possible. And here, let's see, the number possible was 36. And the raw score for Alex was 26. So this puts Alex in the medium level, or the medium level of skills for word analysis. I want to show you some subtests where Alex scored high on, such as, let me see here, structural analysis. She scored a 10 out of 10, which was really good. It put her here in the high level of skills. Another test where Alex scored high in was the entire language section, which is capitalization, punctuation, usage, sentence structure. She did really good at those. I want to show you some of her work samples. Here we were just, I was having them write a story, and she really liked that project. And at the beginning of the year, I couldn't really get her to write too much, but now she really enjoys writing. Does she like to write at home?
Yeah, actually she has a journal and she's writing in it constantly. Every day I see her writing something in there.
That's great. I would have her keep writing in those journals, because you can really, I noticed that here at school. It's really helping her writing when during writing time here at school.
Okay.
So now I want to show you some of Alex's low scores. Here in phonetic analysis, she scored a 6 out of 11, which is okay because remember, they took this test back in March, and since then she has improved. So let's look at another one here. Okay, so here in social studies, in geography and history, she scored, she scored a 4 out of 6 out of both, which puts her in the low level of skills. But I want you to notice that there's only 6 questions, so I'm not too worried. And like I said, we've gone over more items since March.
Yeah.
Let me show you one of Alex's social studies projects. The students doing, I had them pick a president and write down some facts about them, such as their full name, their birthday, their years of presidency, and so on. And Alex really enjoyed this project very much. She was eager to share it with the class. I really enjoyed her little presentation.
Yeah, I remember her working on it at home. She was so excited.
Do you have any questions about any other subtests?
Yeah, economics. How do you go over that in a 3rd grade classroom?
So right now we're going over things such as like wants and needs and things like that.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, I want to show you Alex's scores in life science. Let's find him here. She scored a 7 out of 7, which was great.
Yeah.
And I remember bringing some earthworms to class one time, and most of the girls, they would not get close to me. But Alex had no problem. Like she she got right up there and she started touching them.
Well, yeah, she's always been about going outside and messing with the bugs and trying to get her to stop, but I guess it's worked out for her.
Yeah, that really showed when I brought those earthworms to class.
Yeah.
I really hope you have a better understanding of reading these test scores, and if you still have any questions, feel free to contact me and I can definitely answer those for you. I'm going to give you a handout here. It kind of explains like how to read the test scores again, but like I said, if you have any more questions, just let me know and I'll be glad to answer them for you.
Okay.
It was nice meeting with you, Miss Beretta.
Thank you, you too, Miss Chavez. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciated it.